NoStressMike.com. Part 4, Cuba. Like I say, when we first got there, my travel companion talked Spanish, and he was talking to some guy on the street, and he wanted us to go inside. We went into his apartment, and he had a rundown apartment. If you look on the buildings and stuff in Cuba, everything is run down. Everything. There's no motivation for people to do anything, to modernize or fix up their property. I'll get into that more later. But anyway, so we went inside there, and he had furniture, but the cushions was so worn out. It was a hole, and you could see the floor down below it. And so he had a couch, and so we sat on the couch and some chairs. And he had a family, or there was a family there anyway, little kids. I think there was 2 little kids, and a woman, and there's probably about 4 adults. And but anyway, they asked if I wanted something to drink. They asked if I wanted some water, and I go, yeah, I'll take some water. So they come out and they had like a 7-Up bottle, 2-liter bottle with water in it. And it wasn't cold, so I don't know where they got the water. And but anyway, so they poured the water in the glass, and they gave it to me. And so then, I'm looking, they only have 1 glass. And I thought, well, okay. So I drank the water, and I said, thank you. I gave them the glass, and they filled the glass up for my companion, and they just went on down right around. Everybody wanted water. They filled up the glass and gave it to water. So they only had 1 glass. So now, I didn't see the kitchen, so I don't know if they had a refrigerator or nothing like that. All I saw was the living room. And I didn't see the bedroom or nothing like that. But, man, they didn't have nothing. They were really, really poor. And cigars. He asked, I asked him, where can I get some cigars? He says, he'll give me some cigars. So then he got me a box of real fancy cigars, $50 for a box of fancy cigars. And I don't know now. See, I started smoking a cigar just before we went, because I thought, going to Cuba, I better know something about cigars. So I started smoking cigars. But now I know the difference between a counterfeit fancy cigar and a real fancy cigar. So I know the difference now, but I didn't know at the time. But anyway, I know he needed the money, so I gave him $50 for the cigars. And then I say, then that's when we went down the highway and all that stuff. Okay, now we're coming back. We came back to Havana. And like I say, I was there 11 days, I was there 10 days, and I lost 11 pounds. I mean, there was no food. And all the food I could get, I had to give it to my companion because he was diabetic, and he needed food. You don't want to be hungry when you're diabetic. And so I got him all taken care of. But the food, the way they do the food, you take your coupon book, and it's chicken. You got some chicken. So you take your coupon book or the coupon for the quarter pound of chicken or a half pound, whatever it is, and you go to the chicken store. And then you stand in line, and then when you get up there, it's your turn. Then you give them your little thing, and then they'll give you whatever kind of chicken, or the quarter pound or half pound, whatever amount of chicken that coupon was good for. That's what you get. And so now, and then, wait a minute, I want some eggs too. Well, you go to the egg store, and then you do the same thing with beef, pork. Everything is rationed out like that. Everything is. And but the bad thing is, you're sitting in this big old long line, and just before you get up there, they run out of meat or whatever it is that they have. They run out, so they close the store. So now you got to go over and get in another line. I mean, the rationing of food is very, very tough. That's what I think about when I think about North Korea. I've never been to Korea, but you see whoever the kid that's running Cuba, he hasn't missed any meals. But I guarantee the people have, because they ration out food. I know what ration food is all about. I've never had to live it, but I've seen it. And I was in Cuba where they ration food. I mean, you can ration food for a week or a month or something like that, but I mean, this is their lifestyle. That's a whole nother world when you're eating ration food for a lifestyle. So that was really, really difficult. I mentioned there's no grocery stores. There was some kind of store I went into, and it had stuff, not so much food, but like a not a hardware store, but a department store, something like that. So and it was very small, probably smaller than a normal house would be here in the United States, and so that was the only one I saw. And I went in there, and I don't remember what I got, but I got something when I was in there. And and I used U.S. dollars. They took U.S. dollars when I was there. I don't know. I really don't know if they even have Cuban money. I'm sure they do. I mean, Castro, it's his country, so if he wants something, he just makes the money and then tells everybody that's your money. So that's probably the way that ran. Now, if it's got any value, I doubt it. But if Castro says it's got value, it's got value if you're in Cuba. So now, how much do people make? Everybody that I saw that I could talk to, I always asked them what kind of work they do, and I always ask them how much they get paid. And when I see people's houses, I ask them the same thing, and all this. Housing is free. Oh, one time I asked somebody, I said, well, is this lifestyle, is it a good lifestyle? I mean, are you happy? And he said, oh, man, I love it. How could there be anything wrong? I mean, I got free education, free food, I got a free housing, and a job. They guarantee me a job. And then most people, well, let me see, the lowest wage, the earnings that I found was $7 a month. And that was a security guard or policeman, whatever you want to call them. And so that's what they got, is $7 a month, U.S. dollars, $7 a month. Now, I don't know if they got it in dollars, or I don't remember if I changed it over to dollars so I knew what was going on or what. But anyway. And the ones normally that made $7, they lived poor. They had a shack that they lived in, really bad. The most expensive person, or most highest paid wages I saw, was a surgeon. Remember I talked about I was going to the hospitals and stuff like that, and I was able, but I wanted to do the Hoi Chi. Who do I talk to about doing Hoi Chi? So I got to talk to some surgeon guy, and this surgeon guy was telling me that he makes $22 a month, but he's got a really nice house. And I did see some really nice houses. So I'm just taking it for granted those really nice houses belong to the people that made $22 a month and the ones that are in political office, the ones that are kissing up with Castro. So I just took it for granted that that's what that was. I did go to one. They had one real fancy mansion for tourists to go. And I went there and walked around in there and looked at that. And it was a mansion's a mansion, Of course it was nice. But nobody was living there. But they were just showing that somebody lived there. Or at one time somebody lived there. I think it was an ambassador. Matter of fact, when I think about it, it was some ambassador that used to live there. And but anyway, so that's what the wages were. And like I say, the wages kind of tells you what kind of housing they're going to get. I would say maybe they got a little bit bigger coupon book for food. I'm not for sure on that because I didn't see any overweight people at all. So I mean, you just don't see them. And as a matter of fact, I didn't see hardly any old people. There's no crime. That's why when people talk about, look at all the crime in the United States. Well, you're right. Go to Cuba. There is no crime at all, and that's because any crime you do, and crime is dictated by whatever Castro says. Castro makes the laws. So if he says that's a crime, it's a crime, and then you go do the sugarcane field. So that pretty much took care of the people that were criminals. I say it's be illegal to own your own business. So if you try to own your own business, sell stuff, make a little extra money, that's a crime. You're going to be sent to the sugarcane field, you know. So that's where they get rid of all the spirited people, and so it's very strict, and that's one reason why I don't want to go to Singapore. Singapore is it's clean, no crime and all that. You know, there's the ones that whip people. So for what, spitting on the sidewalk or something like that? I mean, they get nasty. So I have no desire to go places where they're too strict. That's one of the reasons why I'm not going to live in China. I can still travel to China. And now, if I do, it'll go as a tourist. The next time I go, I went as a tourist visa this time. The only thing is, I didn't get on the tourist bus. I took off and just traveled all around, did my own thing, got my apartment and stuff like that. Tourists will get an approved hotel room, so then they can keep an eye on you. The hotel room lets the police know where you're at, and I'm sure they monitor. If you're talking to Chinese people, they'll monitor all that stuff. I would think they did for me, so I would, and you know, I wasn't under their control, but still a lot of people have rat on me. So anyway, that's why it took me so long to go to China. Is I know what communist countries do. I didn't want to go through all that kind of stuff. But I had enough people tell me, and everybody talked to me who told me all this stuff. Tourists, they get on the tourist bus, they're guided around, stuff like that. So, but they don't really know what's going on. It's still a little strange in China. But it's not near as bad as Cuba. And if I would get along, do more what they tell me, I could probably stay. I could move to China if I would do that. But like I say, I like business. I like to travel. I like to talk to people. I like to do things. Those are all things that they don't like people doing in China, and they sure don't want foreigners doing it. So, but anyway, that's pretty much what I can remember. Like I said, I didn't make any videos when I was there. I started making videos in 2009 after my wife had severe strokes and was paralyzed. I couldn't leave her. I had to stay next to her. That's when I started making videos, writing books, and this type of stuff. But anyway, that's what I thought I would bring this to your attention. And, talking about writing books, I saw they had, I don't know. If you know my videos, you know I write kind of like my videos are. Don't forget I'm a dyslexist. So, but I saw they had a review of the book, and he says, the book was lousy and all this kind of stuff. And then now I find out, that's where you get people on YouTube. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I find out there's so many people getting paid in the United States. They're paid to make bad comments. They're paid to make bad reviews, especially book reviews and stuff like that. So I tell you, I've been learning so much. It's really amazing. This is a funny world. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com. Hope you enjoyed my going with me to Cuba.